Okay, well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monday morning's installment of Bathrobe Moments, and I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris. I have a softball cap on today because I do a thing with my scalp this morning, so I decided to just cover it. How are you? What you do this weekend? There's the Bella Purpose. That's right. Um, I have a list of things to talk to you about before we get to our two dynamic guests today, uh, Aaron and Veronica, also known as Aaron Garcia and Veronica Mendez. Even though they're married, she's obviously an independent woman, still holding on to that maiden name. I'm sure it's for brand purposes only. Quit trying to start a scandal so early in the morning. Anyway, they're here. We're going to talk all about what they're doing. They're the host of Awaken Your Spirit that airs Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific. That's 11 a.m. here in Chicago or Central Time Zone, and noon for you people on the East Coast. So that's uh, Awaken Your Spirit with Aaron and Veronica. So they're here, and we're going to talk to them about how their event went this weekend. They pulled off a wonderful I was supposed to be there, but I'll get into that in a minute when they get here. Had something that came up with one of my people that just couldn't avoid, but I wanted to go, and I'm going to hear all about it this morning. But first of all, in case something comes out of my mouth and you hear I'm preempted or you hear a beep or something, it is because the powers that be have, bleeped out something I shouldn't have said because we're streaming live. That's why. That's right. Across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course from our home base out in sunny Arizona with E360 TV Live. I want to say good morning. You saw the little promo from our sponsor this week, which is da 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 symposium.us, where conversation becomes currency. I myself have used Symposium, utilized their wonderful app to make an extra two or three streams of income for the past 3 years. I've done everything from live stream to my event, the Power of We Symposium. We actually sold um, almost as many as the 250 seats we had inside of the what's the name of the place? The Stan Mansion here in Chicago. So a great way, especially now with virtual events being all that you can do. Check out symposium.us. I've done masterminds, master classes, one-on-ones, anything you can imagine. You can turn your cell phone into a payphone, literally. So get over, download the app, symposium.us. You won't regret it. Do something now to keep yourself busy, help someone else, and have an income stream additional all at the same time. Symposium.us. So this bell is new this season, season four. What it means is, it's yes, it is again another power thing on my behalf. That's what my husband says. Honey, you sure that bell isn't there? Because when I had my knee replacement, I had this bell because and I had bell training with Brian. Because if I was thought I was going to have to sleep downstairs, and he wanted to use baby monitors. What fun is that? No, I wanted to. Um, husband, I require a drink. Husband, I'm hungry. Right? It worked how many times? Oh, none. So I turned it into this thing. I'd already bought it. I'm not just gonna. You see what I'm saying? So what the Bella Purpose means here on Bathroom Moments is when our guest says something, they do something that touches your spirit. First of all, you're gonna see this come up on the screen. Let's show our guests some love. Get those hearts up. But this is also your chance. Seriously, now, especially now in this day and age, it is your opportunity. We've all wanted to always be a part of something greater than ourselves. This is when you can now invite somebody, start a watch party, share it out. What you're doing is you're letting our guests know I'm picking up what you're laying down. If you like it, we love it. And that's the Bella Purpose. Can I count on you? Can I get an amen up in here? Thank you so much. And let me see who's here. Hi, Wendy Meyer. Um, oh, Renee Anderson, I love the spelling of your name. That's gorgeous. And to all of you that are here, good morning to you. I know it's hard to get started, but help me welcome to the show my sidekick, my best gal, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Mm. Oh shoot, I left my backup coffee in there. I'm gonna have to get up when I get them in here. I'm gonna let them start talking. I have got to have that. Right. So anyway, Our guest today, they specialize in energy work, emotional healing, their own thing that we're going to get into, vibrational alignment. They call it their VA process. So we're going to talk about that. I think we could all use a little vibrational alignment. My back's been a little out of whack. I wonder if it'll help get that in alignment. We'll see. Um, and we're going to talk about that wonderful workshop that they had this weekend because I know they're going to be doing it again, and we want you all to be there because I need to get there. Let's all go, right? So what'd you do this weekend? Here's my list of things I could check off. My quarantine weekend list. I did yard work. I thought about doing some taxes. Didn't touch them. Ryan's already got his back from the CPA. Two words: overachiever. We went bike riding. I made a fabulous, if I say so myself, bean soup. It was awesome. Um, we had movie night. Um, my husband and I created a video so he could send it to all of his patients that he's now doing telehealth. That was fun. And we connected with family, which is the best part. I really encourage everybody to connect with family. It's a great time to sit down and go, now, who have I not spoken to in a month of Sundays? And then we utilize two things. We do a Zoom call with everybody on it, or we've been using as a family Marco Polo. Are you up on Marco Polo where you can just leave your little thing and everybody can watch it? And yeah, that's fun too. So check it out. Connect with family. Okay. Now more than ever. Now more than ever. So, Aaron and Veronica, without further ado, I need you in here because I need a refill of coffee and I need somebody to keep them occupied while I run them around the corner and get it. But that's not really the only reason I want you here. But oh, there you
Oh, I got
are.
your coffee.
Here's your
I
copy,
know.
Lauren.
That's what I get
I'm
for
drinking it.
teasing you guys.
It's
I was like,
delicious.
they wanted to go make coffee because it is 6 o'clock in the morning there.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
16.
right. And so when they were trying to get up and go, oh, we're gonna go get our coffee. I was like, no, stay. No. And then I forget mine, so serves me right. How are you two?
I'm doing well.
Doing
Thank
great.
you.
Now, Aaron, you got up at what time this morning?
I got up probably about 5.
5. And Veronica, that means that you probably got up around what, 2, 3:30?
No, 4:40.
Because she's got a look at all that. Oh, you just wake up looking like that,
Sometimes.
Aaron?
All the time.
Oh, good answer. There you go. Now, spoken like a true newlywed. Now, you guys are newlyweds. If the game show was still out, you would qualify because you've been married less than 2 years. Brian and I, we're an old married couple. We're over the 2-year mark, so we don't qualify. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So introduce yourselves while I grab my extra coffee, and I'm going to be right back.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm Veronica Mendez Garcia, and this is my husband, Aaron Garcia. And we have a Facebook live show that we do twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and it's called Awaken Your Spirit. And we were inspired to do that show because we were actually meditating, and we got a message like, do a show, like a show, or what kind of show? We had no idea.
Show. This is like 3 years ago.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, we got that message and we're like, what are we going to talk about? And Aaron was freaking out because like for about a year, like trying to start, and he was so nervous at the beginning. And I'll let you talk about that part.
She's just throwing me under the bus right now.
No worries.
But it was probably about a year.
Yeah.
We had contemplated, this is about the time live was just now beginning to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before, you can really only go live on your phones. There wasn't really an opportunity to do this through be on TV, all these things.
Right.
We dabbled a couple times with like in our old office that we had with our phone. And yes.
I just realized, hold on. I'm like, oh, look at their robes look so plush. And I'm like,
I was going to say,
compared to mine. And I was like, oh my God, Lord Jesus, senior moment. Keep talking, Aaron.
I'm talking. Go get your robe. So we did a couple things. Definitely when you're first starting out with anything new and you've never done it before. Well, we've spoken. It's still early, guys. We've spoken before, but to do things on video was a little bit different for us. So it was a little bit nerve wracking. We looked at some of our old videos that we've done in the past, and it seemed like really like stiff and non polished. But things have happened in our life, in our career, that made a big shift. And it's almost like at that time we had our own quarantine. I had a chiropractic office, and it wasn't doing as well. So we ended up leaving that office. And at that time was like, what are we going to do? And rather than that, it was the perfect opportunity for us to do the things that we've been wanting to do that had been put off because, yes.
Wait a minute. You said you had a chiropractic office.
I did.
Who's the chiropractor?
Me.
I did not even know that when I said that little comment about my back needing an adjustment. And no.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I'm channeling this morning. My goodness. Yes. Oh, I did. I promise. I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So what we have our show, but what we do in our work was I had trained to be a chiropractor, and I was practicing for about almost 10 years. And in that time during my training, I had understood that there was more than just the physical side of people's health. I got an opportunity to, when I graduated school, I worked at a wellness hospital down in Rosarito, Mexico, of all the places. And I got an opportunity to see people from all over the world, from cancer patients to multiple sclerosis to autoimmune, you name it. And working with a team of different healthcare practitioners, it gave me the opportunity to see the bigger picture of what was going on with people and their healing. And one of the biggest correlation that I found was emotional stress. And the emotional stress concept was starting to manifest into their body, things that people held on to. So I trained in different modalities of emotional healing. And I brought that aspect into my practice, and things that happened personally for me.
Okay, wait. Emotional healing. Let's stop right there for a second. So you trained during chiropractic school a little bit on emotional healing.
Yeah.
So is that synonymous with therapy?
It's a bit different. So when you're in school, you have your basic training, and then Brian will probably know this. Your husband would be that there's things that you can learn outside of school, and so there's different modalities, different techniques that many different healthcare practitioners can take. So a lot of the emotional healing was more for physical pain that I was working with people, but it was interesting because I was working with people and also on myself. And not only did physical issues start to go away because they were letting go of things that they were holding on to, but they were coming back saying, well, my relationship with my spouse has gotten so much better because I'm not getting as triggered. My business has changed. And so things were shifting, not just physically, but in their personal lives. And that's where we realized that, hey, the reason why they're in physical pain is because they're worried about their finances. They're having issues in their relationships. And that's what we kind of now take our work towards and I'll let Veronica share her story, we brought our talents and work together and created something completely different.
That's what I want to talk about first. Because you each have when I think about you two, it's like you're what's the best way to put it? It's like, you remember when we were, well, you guys may not be old enough, but back in the day in elementary school and stuff, our teachers had a thing called an overhead projector. And they would lay those transparencies on top of each other, one layer at a time. Okay. So that's kind of how I see what you guys do. Like you have a full picture, but first, Veronica, with her empath and all the things, that those gifts and things that she has that you can't go to school for, they come with you when they slap you on the butt and say, welcome to the world. They come with you. You lay that on there, and then you have what you bring, and you lay that on top of it. Now you have a new picture because you have the picture of both. And then she comes and pulls another thing out of her bag of tricks and lays another one. And it just keeps going back and forth. And that's what I think makes you two so interesting. I have never peeked in, because I do that. I run across people's Facebook yards, is what I say. Did you see me run through your yard last night? Like, I may not have time all the time to sit and watch the entire show. Yeah.
The dogs are barking.
Well, right. Intruder. Well, I don't have time a lot to sit because there's so many of us out here and so many that I love. Even like and Coach Chuck is on here, and he adores you too. He said that in the promo piece when he saw it that you guys were going to be here. He said, "I simply love those two," and he does. But you guys get it. You'll be scrolling through, and you'll see, oh, Aaron and Veronica, and you'll stop and you'll watch a little bit, and you're like, oh my God, time for my coaching session or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But every time, it's hard for me to stop with you guys because I'll stop and I'll get stuck you know. And it like just now, I saw you guys sitting in the green room waiting, and I was listening to an interview with Pink, and I really that was Saturday because Pink and her 3-year-old son are both coronavirus positive. So yeah, a big interviewer came and they did a Instagram interview. It was very interesting. I meant to just peek. But next thing you know, I look up and I have like 30 seconds before we go live. That's why I have to be careful, is what I'm saying. I want I want you to each, Veronica, your top three pieces that you bring to the brand. Uh, Tell us what those are and help people understand what you do with those
Okay, well,
components, your components, and then Aaron, same
like
question.
my layers of okay.
Hmm.
So, what I bring, to the table is, well, I was trained as a Reiki master, but during that time, practicing and working on people, I I didn't know this, prior to, but I started to feel things in my body, like pains that weren't there, and then I thought it was interesting because
That's
I didn't
called a
have.
hypochondriac. I'm just saying that wasn't nothing new, girl. But anyway, okay.
So I
I'm
would
kidding.
tell the person, I would tell them, "Is there anything going on in this area of your
So,
body?" And
so you were feeling other people's pains.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, and they would confirm. So I'm like, interesting. So I'm able to feel people's pain, and then sometimes when they would come in and there was like all this emotional stuff, I would cry. And then I would, but they before they came in, I was fine, but when I would be in their presence, it was like, tears coming down. So I learned that I was able to feel people's emotion and their physical pain. So when Aaron and I,
Ooh.
when we started our office together, he was working on his chiropractic clients and I was taking notes, and I would start to feel pains in my body, and I would tell him, "Hey," like kind of with through sign language, like check here or check the jaw, and it would show up
Oh,
for him. So
wow.
it made his work a
Makes
lot,
so much easier.
yeah, easier, and where he didn't have to kind of like try to figure out what was going on. He'd go straight to the area, and there it was. So that's how we combined our talents together.
Now, Veronica, that sounds
Hmm.
like it's kind of a two-edged sword, bittersweet, if you will, to have that gift to help. But what about, I mean, do you have to conscientiously be seeking, like really focusing on the person, or can you be standing next to them in the grocery line and go, "Ooh, ooh, my spleen," and then you look at them and you might want to get your spleen checked out. I know you want, you know what I'm saying, though. I mean,
Yeah.
do you have any control over what you feel, or does it? Are you an empath? Is that what
Yes.
this is? Oh,
Yeah.
so you don't control it at all.
No, it was a lot stronger before where I think because I've worked so much on myself, and I'm able to kind of control it a little bit better than before.
Okay.
But sometimes when there's someone that has like really heavy stuff, I just feel it and I allow it to go through me. I don't hang on to it.
Now,
And that's
do you have to be in the room with them physically? I'm just
no,
asking because so social distancing hasn't affected your abilities.
no.
Okay, what about virtually? Have you ever been like on a thing like this and you feel something?
That's exactly how we work with people. Like, we do
Oh,
it virtually, so we're able to work with people anywhere around the world.
Yeah, it was a
wow.
discovery that we when we started to do this together was let's explore and see if we can do this through like a video call. So we do a lot of our client work through Zoom, and we got the same effect. So the greatest thing about everything that's going on now, it didn't really affect our work. We can still help people, even when they're quarantined in their own home.
Wow. Well, that's nice. Now, here's a little question, Veronica, off topic really quick because
Mhm.
I'm nosy. So, um, when you were sitting in the corner or wherever in his practice, and you guys were doing this. This was at the beginning.
Hmm.
Uh, were you there just in a work capacity, or were you guys already romantically connected?
We were already romantically connected.
Okay, because I always wondered. I've never heard the story of how you two met.
Well, we
Hmm.
met prior to having our own office. We had to share an office where he was the chiropractor and I was at that time doing microcurrent therapy with people, um, and and that's how we met through a mutual friend.
Microcurrent therapy.
Hmm.
You know what? I just gotta say it. Out in California, you can get people to come and do anything. I can just come up with, eyelid transference, cross-eye therapy, and people can say, "Ooh, I
Oh,
want some."
that's the best therapy.
See what I'm saying? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I used to live out there, and I know it's like, you do some of that stuff here in the Midwest, farm
It's
country.
good.
They're gonna be like,
Yeah,
you
there's a
know,
lot of modalities out here.
yes, there are. There are. Okay, so you guys,
Weird.
you find this incredibly unique bond that allows you to do something that no one else can do.
Hmm.
And then you decide to bring it all together under one roof, if you will,
Yeah.
and been doing it ever since. And now you're married. And let's talk about, so Erin. Okay, so that's her part. Do you still now? What do you do? Are you still practicing chiropractic? Is it chiropractic?
Chiropractic.
Chiropractic. Are you still practicing?
No, I don't practice anymore.
So, what is your layer? What's your transparency to the Aaron and Veronica brand of today?
So for me, I take my skills and my knowledge and understanding of everything I've learned through schooling, understanding the physiology, understanding the body, and then also when we left the office and I was wondering about what's the next step, and we
Okay.
had already been dabbling into helping people through video chat and online because I used to do physical testing. So my training was in a technique called applied kinesiology, which is
Mm-hmm.
just muscle testing. So I learned the traditional way to do it. So I used to be able to, with my patients, was if they had a physical issue, I would check every single muscle that was like, supporting the low back or supporting the shoulder to see what wasn't working, what was creating compensation patterns. And then as I started to study and learn, I understood that there's different areas of the body relate to certain things that are going on in our life.
Mm.
So I just put a lot of my understanding and
So,
knowledge.
so connecting the dots, correlations,
Yeah.
cause and effect.
Yeah, and I always think cause and effect. My question always is why? Why does this show up? I was never really big on treating symptoms. I always wanted
Mm-hmm.
to know why because I didn't enjoy when things would come back,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, why isn't this happening? Well, I'm missing something.
Okay. So, perfect time to segue. Bottom of the hour. Welcome to all of you who have just come aboard. I see you trying to sneak in through the side door. Close that slider. Anyway, hello, Nick Harris. Love you, love you. Robert Jallo, who does not live up to his name at all. He is anything but Jallo. And welcome to the rest of you who are here, Coach Chuck. Listen, let's talk about what you have seen since the onslaught. And I'm not getting into negative, the doomsday theories, the scary things about this coronavirus thing. What I like to talk about is our options. Um, what we can do now to affect tomorrow, next week, because it's ever changing, it's ever evolving. How to go through it, and not hide from it. All of the positive things that I like to look at it, like I ask myself every day. I promise you, before my feet hit the floor, I lay there and I speak to my greater than, and I say, today, help me pick up all of the breadcrumbs that I know you have laid out there for me, that will help me be the best version of myself when we get to the other side of this. Because I ask myself, what kind of person do I want to be when we get to the other side? What do I want them to write about? That's how I look at it. For
Mhm.
me, legacy, my why is the one you find on the end of the word legacy. And we write that story every day with our thoughts and our actions. So I want you guys to talk about what you've seen happening and some of the things you can offer people to help them self-correct I don't believe in mistakes. I believe there's only blessings and miracles in the making. So I really love what you all do. And I think that's why I asked you to come on so quickly, because I know that you guys can offer some people, everyone, some things that they can apply and implement uh, to help keep the boat righted so that they can go through this storm and get to the other side and have something to change the world with.
I'll let you go first.
Well, right now, especially during this time, there's a lot of fear, a lot of worry, and when people are in that state, what happens is they're suppressing their immune system, and that's the least thing that you want to do. So it's very important to be aware of what you're watching,
Mm,
what you're taking in, and like when you're looking at something, ask yourself, does this make me feel good or does this make me feel bad? And if it makes you feel bad, maybe you should think about changing the channel or watching something, listening to something more positive. Music can do the same thing. There's a lot of music out there that's very angry. There's a lot of angry words. That's another thing that people really don't take into consideration. They think, oh, it's just
mm,
music, but it's very powerful what you listen to, what you watch, because that the subconscious mind is soaking it all in. And you want to have more positivity in your life. It's there's a book that was done on water, and words were placed on the water, and there was the water was frozen to where it creates crystals, and the words that said like love and beautiful and things like that, the crystal was very, very nice and beautiful, but when there was words of like hate, anger and things like that, it was very distorted. And
mm.
we're made of almost all water.
In the
Right,
world.
Yeah, the
right.
world
In the
is
world
all.
too.
So what is that doing to us? So that's why we have to be mindful of
Mm.
what we watch, what we listen to, and how is it making us feel? Because our feelings and emotions, that's what amplifies our thoughts and everything that we think about.
And
So
I love that. Thank you so much for that. You guys get some hearts on the screen. That was a good one. I'm picking that one up off the stage. That's for sure. Taking it with me, and I suggest you do the same. Now, listen, what you said about how it makes us feel. I think that's a very important component. Um, because this, and listen up, folks, because this is a good one. Seriously, I want you to understand it's important that when you wake up, when I lay in bed, when I say I'm convening with what is greater than me before my feet hit the floor, I do that because many mornings I wake up and I automatically, because I'm human, I know that there's some fear with me. What is today going to bring? How many people will perish today? But I also say to myself, no matter what happens, it does not have control over how I feel. If
hmm,
I used to hate it when people would say, I'd say, you know what, when you did this, you know how it made me feel? You go, well, that ain't my fault. It wasn't my intention. I don't care if it was your intention or not. Nonetheless, that's how it left me feeling. And you can't tell me, well, you don't have the right to feel that way, but yes, you do. So we have to give ourselves permission to feel all of
hmm,
it. But then what you were speaking to, Veronica, is in looking at the things we do have control of. And I think that's a huge piece too. That we feel like the world is spiraling out of our control, but there will always be those things that we do have control over. For instance, when you said what we intake, Brian and I have a thing where we pass it off. We only first of all watch 10 o'clock news. Because Brian feels that's where it's the end of the day. It's the most it has all the stuff that's happened that day, and we only watch the first 20 minutes. He will watch it one day and then tell me what debrief me, if you will, and I will watch it and debrief him so that we cut it down. And not because at first I was like, Alexa, get my flash briefing. I'm going and buying newspapers and this, and I was like, no, 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 because I would constantly. First of all, you get conflicting news. Everything is geared to control all
Mhm.
these different things. Alexa, turn off. I did not mean for you to start talking. Alexa,
Yes.
Alexa, cancel. You can whisper her name and she wakes up. I'm Harry. So anyway, I love that. I love that. So now, what else? What else do you have that people need to pay attention to that can make sure their boat stays?
Well, you mentioned something right now, like you made me feel this way. What I tell my daughter is no one can make you feel angry. No one can make you feel all these emotions. We choose to feel that way. And it's based on what someone else is doing, that like we have our perception and we create stories in our mind of what we think they're doing or why they're doing it, and it can trigger us from maybe something that happened in the past. So but it's up to us, and we choose to either react out of anger, or we can take a step back and breathe and then say, okay, I'm gonna choose to, they can behave whatever way they want to, but I'm going to choose to be happy. And it's up
Mhm.
to us to be in that happiness.
And
Here's
it's
something. Go ahead, Aaron.
And what we find is when people usually come to see us is most of the time we were kind of talking about this is what is it that people really come to us for? And the correlation is when people are in a really highly emotional state, something really tragic is going on in their life, or they just can't control what they're feeling, and they don't know what to do. And what we find out is something in their that's going on in their present day situation has, like Veronica says, triggered them in some way.
Right.
And that could be, like you mentioned, someone lost their loved one.
Right.
Could be, someone's business is having some issues, or they're having issues in their relationship. And we try to find out, okay, what does this represent to that person? Because they have a meaning towards that. And most of the time what we're working on is all the built up stuff that has been going on in their life from at the point of even conception to usually that's about 10 years old, usually is where we are being ingrained by all this information, and we don't have a conscious reasoning mind to filter it all out. And so whatever to us, we take it as real. That subconscious mind has no ability to reason. It just soaks it in like, hey, if you touch this, your foot's going to fall. And they're like, oh my God, that's going to happen. And the kids believe that. And so what are we being told? Are you smart? Are you good at what you do? Or are you stupid? Are you no good? And all that. And everybody has their own experiences. And that all shows up into our present day. And that's why we can get triggered by what people do, because it can remind us of, I remember when I was being teased in school, and I don't like when people say things to me, and it brings up feelings of either anger or frustration.
Yeah.
And so we teach people, let's learn how to feel again. You said that perfectly earlier. Most people are so disconnected on how they feel. They react more than understanding, why do I feel this way? And when they can understand why they feel this way and allow themselves to vent and get it out of their system, and that's what the biggest part of our process that we do is help people to actually release it. Then they go back into that situation and they're now desensitized to it, and they don't get affected by it anymore.
Sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. Now, really quickly, let me just say welcome to everyone who's come in. Hi, Martine Lopez. Nice to see you. And the rest of you, hi. This is where I want to come in. We're at the over just a little ways over the halfway point, and I want to thank again our sponsor for today, which is symposium.us, where conversation becomes currency. Please get over and download the app. This is a great way for any of you to, or any of us, because I'm doing it myself, to offer yourself in the world more content, but also another stream of income to help stay afloat. We're all dog paddling in one form or another. So let's get over and check it out. You won't regret it. Now, I want to talk to you guys about trust, because right now it's very difficult for a lot of people in the world to trust. Because we're living in something that none of us has ever lived in. And most of us, in order to trust, we need a reference point, or we need somebody in order to trust them to be able to hear them say, no, when I experienced this, this is what happened. This is what I did. But nobody can do that. Yeah, they can go back and say, oh, the Spanish flu thing or this, any other, but nobody has lived this. And these are tumultuous times right now, and I know that trust is an important issue. It is an important thing, and it is also a very loosely used term, in my opinion. A lot of people think they know what trust really means and feels like until they're questioning it all around them. So, what do you say that people can do to help elevate the level of trust right now, in all ways and in all things during this difficult time?
I would suggest really quieting the mind going within and tuning into your true self and asking yourself, like, if they're questioning, like, should I do this or should I do that, or what's going on, it's quieting the mind and going within. And you can do this through meditation and really feeling and asking yourself, like, what is this, and show me the truth, because the truth is so powerful, and that will always show up. Like, the truth, it will always be there.
Has a
And
ring to it. Has a ring to it.
mhm,
But you have to be in tune. It's like a silent dog whistle.
yeah.
And if you're seeking it,
Hmm.
really, this is where you get tested, in my opinion, on what your motives are.
Yeah.
Your motives is speak to what you're seeking in life. And if
Hmm.
you're seeking the truth, you will find it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impossible not to. I got a question here from Robert Shallow. He says, "What if?" And he capitalized both words. "I didn't allow my feelings and emotions to get in my way. How
Mm,
can this affect my day?"
that would be awesome.
I know that's part of his book, The What If Theory. And the biggest thing when we talk about learning how to tune in is if you're caught up
Mm,
into your emotions, the emotions are noisy. So when someone's learning how to quiet their mind and meditate and just find the answers from within, it's like what we're talking about is that sixth sense. It's that gut feeling intuition that all of us have. Some people are
mm.
highly in tune to that, but we all can do this. But what
Ah,
stops us is when there's too much static noise. We're so distracted by everything that's going on around us, and it's information overload, and it's too much. It can be very overwhelming. And so when you learn to just tune out the outside world, and isn't this fantastic that we have been given the opportunity to tune out the outside world? We can't go out as much as we want to. Everything's closed. This is a time for all of us just to sit down and reflect, self-reflect on what's important to me. We're
mm.
challenges that we're seeing right now with people is, and we came across this yesterday, is families are stuck at home together, and a lot of them can't handle that. And
Mhm.
it's fascinating to Veronica and I because we're really, our life situation right now has been nothing different.
Nothing
We've
different.
gone through
Same
our
here.
we've
Yep.
gone through our quarantine a few years ago, so we prepared for this type of a moment. But what you may notice is that anytime you see myself or Veronica, we're usually together most of the time.
Together. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you see her by herself, I'm probably on the other side of the screen.
That's right. That's right.
But because we really enjoy our time together. Have we
Right.
worked on it? Absolutely. But we find that if somebody can't stand being next to their spouse or their child, that might be this time to work on that, because that's not 100% healthy. It's
Right.
like if you're going to be there, there should be that love and compassion and joy to be next to that person. And maybe it's time to really reflect on what's something that we can work on to improve that relationship. And so this is the time to be able to do that,
Right.
because you may not be aware of it because you were never in that situation together. And that's usually what we find when the emotions come up. That's telling us that there's something within each and every one of us, that something needs to be healed.
Man, I love
Mhm.
that one. There's a ring of the bell. And I want to throw this out there for you guys to munch on. Uh, a minute ago you were talking about something I truly love, and I think it's a key to everything that is good in every individual's life. And I said, individual, right? I love every in word. When you see a word that starts with in, you need to scoot up close to it, pull up to the bumper, baby, and really take a good look. If you're going to attach yourself to some kind of wagon or kite, make it an in word, because it holds the key to everything: insight, intention, intuition, internal, instinct. It's
Inspiration.
pointing, yes, it is pointing to where all of the true answers exist inside. If you're gonna point a finger, point there first. If you're looking for what the problem could be, check there first. If you need to feel like you have control of something, go there first. Inside. That's why it's called insight. And everything else comes after that. I believe when we attach ourselves to that mindset, our first mind is connected to what is greater than us. That's the place. I don't care how crazy it sounds to me. because I already know back in the day, I ended up in drunk tanks. I ended up in back seats of police cars. I ended up in front of drug dealers and all kinds of things because I didn't listen to that first mind. I talked myself out of it. And then I became a subscriber of second guessing, and it never turned out well.
Mhm.
Never. It was when I listened to that first mind, which I believe is connected to the creator, that things, even though they may not have looked like they would, turned out better than I could have ever expected. And I believe that is something that we all need to think about in this time that we're living right now. Don't let the newspaper or the news broadcast or all the different theories control where you are as a person. Go inside.
Yeah.
Go inside. So, you guys, tell us about this. You had an event this past Saturday.
Mhm.
Talk about it. Now, I hope you're going to be doing it again.
Yeah, we
Tell the folks about that so they can get in line to be a part of this next one.
Yeah, so this is something that had been on our mind that we like through. It came to us even through meditation. We always had a shared vision of sharing our work and not hiding it to ourselves, is sharing it with more people. That's what
Mm-hmm.
we do this live, to share our message, because that's what has helped us to grow, is just people watching. And it's like when you hear something that resonates, when you talked about truth and trust, it's like when you hear something and it's like almost instantly you know that it's true.
I was
Right.
feeling emotional when you were saying that. Like the tears were coming out because that's truth. And when I hear the truth, it's like I get flooded with like emotion
Uh,
because that's what people need to hear right now. And
uh-huh.
with everything going on, like you mentioned, inside is where everybody needs to go.
Exactly. You know how when and the people take these things for granted, but when somebody says something and it gives you say, "Oh, I got goosebumps." Oh, you
Uh-huh.
just gave me the chills. That is the ring of truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the ring of truth. It is innately within us.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, here's the deal. I know for a fact it wasn't until I started identifying things from within, uh, because things that I would send out, that I would put out words that deceive. I said, I can't believe it. Sure is strange. The weirdest thing happened today. Oh my God, this coffee, it's good as hell. I was, as long as I was throwing words that deceive out, I wasn't able, because it started with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was never able to see them when they were thrown at me.
Uh,
And that's why, the thing about no weapons formed, it doesn't say anything about weapons you willfully hand the world, of your own mouth, of your own mindset. So, yes, Veronica, and I love that, because I'm an empath too when it comes to just that knowingness, that
mm-hmm.
knowingness. And I think we all have an opportunity to plug in, to put those batteries in our Energizer bunny backs and keep moving and
Yeah.
keep, but you can't be afraid of it. And you have to be willing to give yourself permission to seek something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, what happened Saturday? What did we miss? And how do we get on in line or get signed up for the next one? When is the next one?
So our event was called, we called it Let Go. And it was all about, the concept was, we all need to learn how to let go of things that no longer serve us. Whether that could be letting go of old thought and belief systems that aren't helping you to attract or manifest the things that you want in your life. Letting go of old hurts, old angers, and or even just letting go of our need to be right, our need for that control, our need to
Mm-mm.
go on
You
and on and on, right?
you said that on the show the other day, when I was on your show, the need to be right. And that
Mhm.
really, that I'm gonna tell you something. I took that to bed with me that night. And I'm working on that. And that was a hard thing
Yeah,
to,
totally.
it was right for me to say, ooh, why did I feel like he was talking right to me? So I just want to put that out there.
These
Thank you
are
for that.
great questions, and that is the biggest question that we can always ask ourselves is why. Why do I feel this way? Why does
Mm,
this bother me? Why is this happening? And when you ask that question, it's like the kid asking you, like, why can't I have that? Because this. Why? Because of that. Why? And then parents get so frustrated because I said so. but we want an answer. We're always looking for an answer to satisfy, because we need order in our mind.
Hmm.
When we ask ourselves that question, eventually we're going to get an answer if we just keep asking it. We may not get it instantly, but we will get it at some point. And so when we're teaching people is how can we let go of things? And the biggest thing is we have to be aware of our thoughts and our emotions first. And we teach people how does manifestation work? We hear this big thing about law of attraction, and don't know how it all works. We're working with it, but we've learned some big concepts. That one of the key things that we teach in that is learning how to understand our emotions, how to feel, how to reconnect our thoughts and our feelings, because that's the first part. There's other things that need to happen, but that is one of the keys that most people are not paying attention to. Is I feel on the inside is an energy that I'm sending out, and now that's bringing towards me what I'm feeling. So if I'm in a state of fear of something happening, there's a high chance that I'm going to now start to see that in my experience.
Oh yeah, no way around it.
Yeah.
Because there's two sponsoring thoughts, either fear or love. That's like the seed. So if your thought turns into a word, your word becomes the action. Just like a seed becomes the plant, and the plant bears that fruit. So if you put a seed of fear, you're going to grow a plant of fear. That fruit's going to be rotten because it's going to be grown from fear. Same thing in reverse it, you get love. I want to ask you what you guys think about this, because I'm a firm believer in this one. I think it's also another thing because it's with us from the beginning. You know, I always look back to what came with us as babies that we didn't have to earn or learn or work our way into. It was just automatically there. And one of the first thing is the form of communication, need versus want. And right now, you know, a lot of people are caught up there. We can't do this. You know, well, I want to go to the club, or I want to be able to go back and go out to dinner. I want, which is why January 1st, when everybody said, oh, I want to lose 40 pounds, you end up gaining 20. You know, oh, I want a brand new car this year. You end up getting your car repossessed. Why? Because if you would have want is a wish list. That's asking, that's trying to manifest based on wishing, not believing. When you ask from need, it comes with a built-in plan. For instance, if I say I need, the doctor says you're borderline diabetic, Loren. You need to lose 30 pounds. Okay. Now that tells me, okay, doctor said I need to lose 30 pounds. So that means I need to learn how to shop better so that I can then cook better, so that I can eat better in order to lose the 30 pounds that I want. Oh, I need a brand new car. Well, that means that I need to reduce my credit card debt every month by this amount, or I need an additional stream of income in this amount to afford the car I want. But when you start from want, when a baby cries, do you guys look at each other and go, who's going to go in there and see what that baby wants? You don't. You go, ooh, I better go see what the baby needs. You go, oh, what was wrong? She needed to be fed. He needed to be picked up. He needed to be changed. Because they know how to communicate that, hey, I need something in here. Hey, get in here. You see what I'm saying? But somewhere along the line, our ego starts convincing us to communicate to others and to ourselves from a place of want. Ooh, look what Aaron and Veronica have. I want what they have. And not looking at our needs. What do you feel we need now more than ever? You know, remember the old song, What the World Needs Now? He didn't say what the world wants now. That was during tumultuous times too, Vietnam. He said what the world needs now. Right. So what do you think the world needs now, you guys?
That's a loaded question, but from my thought process, and I know you might have yourself might be similar. Be curious to hear your thoughts. Is I think the world, we all need to reconnect with each other again, and we've been so disconnected. You mentioned the ego. From our perspective, what we study a lot of our work comes from the works of Paramahansa Yogananda, who's a yogi from the East that brought someone who's highly in tune. One of like those high masters that they can almost hear and see your thoughts. They can feel things from source and just coming down is what we call it. And that's when we read his work.
What do we call it?
Truth.
Truth. Okay.
I think that's what
you said about. When it comes down. When they
it's like
feel it,
when the message comes down, it's like he's tuned in. Source, spirit, it flew through him. He was just really highly in tune.
Okay.
And so what was interesting is when we started reading his work, and we're reading the pages, and like just tears and those chills start to come out just by the words. We realize this is the true message, and it's all about.
Yes.
And it was all about how do we live our lives? How can we create more joy and happiness? And the part of that ego side of us, what he mentions is that part of us that feels separated from source, from the higher power that we came from. We are delusion that we are here alone by ourselves, and the ego is so attached to our outside senses, which is our sight, our taste, our hearing, our smell, and our taste. Make sure I got all this properly. And we can be so get disillusioned that this is what I want or need, and we receive it, and we're so excited. Like I want a new coffee mug. I got my new coffee mug. Makes me excited, and then give it about a week, give it about a month, and it's just a coffee mug now. The excitement, we lose that. And thinking that this is going to bring me happiness. What happens when I drop this and it breaks? Now, how do I feel? Do I feel, oh my gosh, I'm never going to see that again? Do I feel, oh my God, my life is ruined? And we forget that this does not bring us happiness. Our cars, our homes don't bring us happiness. It's nice to have those things to keep us comfortable, but it's not our true source of joy, because we're going to lose it at some point anyways. We can't take it with us when we make
can't take it with us. That's absolutely right.
And what he's talking about, like what we all need to find is tune into who we truly are, and that's the soul, that's the spirit.
There it is. There it is right there. Listen, before we get out of here, two things I want to leave, and I want to thank you two for it, because when we surround ourselves, you talked about law of attraction. When we surround ourselves with people that are seeking the same things, it really helps in ways that we miss sometimes if we're not doing that. That's why it's important who you invite in. There's only so many seats, everybody, around all of our tables. Who do you have? Who's on your dance floor? Are they doing the electric boogie when you're doing the waltz? You got to look at these things. Now, what I want to say about you two, what I love about you, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, is, when I listen to you and I hear things that sound so familiar and that resonate within my soul, I know that every now and then you meet people where it's like, okay, so and so, I look at us like we're garments. All of us has a tag in the back, and I like to look at the tags on people. Say, oh, they came out of the same manufacturing plant. But some days, like today, you check those tags and you go, oh my goodness, we were cut from the same bolt of cloth. That's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And Veronica, I'm really throwing that in your direction because I know something. I picked up something about you today that I didn't know before. I know that you can detect these things. You can feel these things, even if they don't come out of the person's mouth. I was thinking some things and I heard you feeling them as I was thinking them. I picked that up today. Thank you for that. I would have never known that existed. And then, and the last thing I want to say, which goes along with what you were saying in closing, Aaron, was about the coffee mug. That's exactly right. It was just a few weeks ago. No, a few months ago, actually. My husband Brian said, I just booked my TED Talk in Munich, which is now postponed. But we always do a happy dance. We did it Saturday when we finished his video for telehealth. And he said way back with the Munich thing, stopped in the middle of the dance and he goes, honey, you don't seem as excited. I said, oh, yes, I am. I said, but what's changed is, and thank you for noting it, is that I don't base excitement on surprise anymore. My excitement is based on expectancy. Just like everybody, when you order something from Amazon Prime and they tell you they send you the notification, it's going to be at your doorstep before tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You're not surprised when the doorbell rings at 8:59 because you expected it. So I'm going to tell you now, and especially in these times, think about tomorrow, think about next week, think about next month, and think about the other side of what we're dealing with and be expectant. Don't be fearful. Don't be fearful. Be expectant. Expect something wonderful, and it's exactly what you'll get. I want to thank you, Aaron and Veronica. Please put all your connectors inside the Facebook page comments so people can continue this wonderful dialogue with you. You have a turnstile invitation for Bathrobe Moments, which means you can come through anytime you like. Just let me know. And I really love what you guys are doing. Um, It's obvious that you get it because in order to be a blessing, you had to first see a blessing. And so, thank you for showing that to the world and being a great example of what can be, especially in this day and age. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you again real
Thank you.
soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was Aaron and Veronica. You guys get over and check them out. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. I want to thank you. Come back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central. We'll do it all over again, God willing. Have a blessed day and continue to be the blessing. Woohoo! Good show today. I am happy with that one. Yes, I am. Bye, everybody.